Give me a second or so here. I just have to set it up so that I can see what's happening. I'm with you. I just have to get this set up. I'm with you. Just have to get this set up. Here we go. All right. Got a few things to do. Forgive me. I know that people like lives to start right away. I swear I'm working on it. Okay. Look, you can now you can see what I'm doing right here. I have to get my comments up there just in case anyone comments. Okay. All right. Let's get to work. So actually, you guys can maybe see up there in that top left corner. That is Hun-Dred the Conqueror. Hun-Dred is who I'm going to make a version of today for Skeletor's Council. And there we go. This way. All right. So he has like this dome type head, and I'm going to use this. And I'm going to replace these claws. I'm going to mount his body to these tank treads. This is for, is his name Bonebreaker? But it's a Marvel Legends figure. And half of this comes with Siren and half comes with Darwin. So I got both of those because I wanted this. And I'll find uses for them. Yeah. I'm going to mount him on here. The original toy had like a suction cup on the bottom. And it was not amazing. But let's see how it do. Grab a couple more things for this. He also has like some laser eyes. I'm gonna grab those too. I have some 3D printed parts I'm adding. So, okay. I think the original has pretty big claws, so I'm going to use these guys. I'll use the big ones. I thought I was going to use the smaller ones, but I think the bigger ones are the way to go. And to mount those, I'll have to drill 2 little holes in order to put those in there. And he has laser eyes, or like gun turret eyes. And I will... Boy, which one do I want to do? I think I'll do the bigger one. Yeah. Okay. Bigger all around. But let's get this guy opened up. I've been watching Masters of the Universe Revolution. Been a little late. I'm enjoying it in the shop. Okay, I want to not have my crotch in all the shots. So... Hey, Ace. Good to see you on. I'm working on Hun-Dred the Conqueror. There was a toy line called Robo, and a lot of them had like suction cups on their as their base. But I'm going to use tank treads on this one. This is a figure that's going to be on what I'm calling Skeletor's Council. It's kind of all the bad guys. All the big bad leaders from the 80s cartoons. These are great. These are 8-inch figures. So they're a little big for Masters of the Universe. Yeah, I keep checking Walmart, and I haven't found an Andre the Giant yet. That's my big search, as you well know. This. I always feel like I'm eating crabs, just cracking open crabs when I'm taking legs and stuff off. Because I'm going to mount this. I'm going to mount this piece to this tank tread, which is Bone Breaker's treads from Marvel Legends. You get half of this. He's a Build-A-Figure. You get half of this with Banshee. You get half of this with Darwin. That's who the other half goes with. Yes, Andre the Giant is going for crazy amounts of money on eBay and such right now. Wherever he's being sold, he's crazy money. So, I know that he has crazy money. I do not expect to get him cheaply. I'm hoping I can get him and not have to come up with another solution. This was... I got this at Target, and it was like $6. I really like the look of this guy. These are very well-designed critters. And I don't really care about breaking this because I'm not using these legs for anything, I don't think. This little Dremel with the saw on the end, that's amazing. Okay. Okay, so Chris Foley, let me explain to you here. I'm making like my own. I'm making an entire Dark Side of Eternia, and Skeletor has won basically in my world. I'm doing a whole train set layout. I'm building all of it. And what I'm making right now is Skeletor's Council. Skeletor's Council is made up of a lot of big bads. Okay. So I made Megatron. I've already done Monstar from Silverhawks. And you might, I don't know if you remember, Chris, that there was a toy line called Robo in the 80s. And they They had suction cups on the bottom. So I'm making Hun-Dred the Conqueror, Hun-Dred the Conqueror, from that line into a figure to work with Skeletor's Council for my Motu work. That is a little bit convoluted, and I can't give that much information. But so look at this now. I've got, he's going to have this tank tread body. I think I want him mounted a little bit further back, like right in the middle, which means I've got to cover up this hole. I hate robots. Like, I'm not a big robot guy. So it's frustrating that I had to do... I used one of these when I was making... There was a toy line called the Street Sharks. And when I made the Street Sharks bad guy, Dr. Paranoid, I made one of these. I'm watching Revolution right now. I'll watch a couple episodes today. I should be able to get through it in the next few days. Okay. I ran to the other room to grab something. So, like, Skeletor's Council. This is one of those guys. This is Dr. Paranoid. Dr. Paranoid... Oh, your internet. I gave a big explanation. I'm making a whole, like, Dark Side of Eternia. And so I'm making a lot of the big bads from cartoons in the 80s. And this is my version of Serpentor. This is Sir Pentor. I sculpted the head and then customized the body. And then this is Dr. Paranoid. He is made from one of these guys. So it's okay, man. It's no big deal. No one can control the internet. So I'm going to put these guys back real quick. But now I'm making Hun-Dred the Conqueror, who is from a toy line called Robo Force from the 80s. They all had suction cups on them. Yeah, they were all robots, and they had a suction cup base. One had a helicopter head, but... Hello, June. So this is my Megatron, which is not great. I'm not a robot guy, so my robots look like they've been in, like, space fights. So they're a little beat up. I much prefer organic things as a sculptor and whatnot, but I think Megatron turned out okay, and his scale is good. And this was actually one of the Zergs. It was like a 7-inch Zerg, I think it was. Let me grab another Motu figure just to show the comparison. So this is a normal-sized Motu figure, and Megatron is bigger, but that's perfectly fine. I think Megatron has always been kind of huge. These being about 6 inches, and then, oh, this is a custom too, actually. Yeah, but anyway, so I'm working on Hun-Dred, Hun-Dred the Conqueror from the Robo Force line. Yeah. So that was a custom figure of Skulk from Sectars. I'll be doing General Spydrax here soon also, but Skulk was my favorite, so I kind of started with Skulk. Do I not like the original Motu plot and setup? Um, what I'm kind of doing is the original Motu plot and setup. Before the cartoon, there's always been a dark side of Eternia and a light side, and Snake Mountain is on the dark side. But there's also cities on the dark side. There's a bunch on the dark side. So, you know, and it was they were battling for control of Castle Grayskull, which stood right in the middle. So really, mine is pretty close to my concept is pretty close to what the original was in the original mini comics before the cartoon. The cartoon has kind of they added Prince Adam, they added Cringer, they added Orko, all that stuff, and that's fine. I understand its place. I don't think I'll be casting off any, but that is a Skulk head that you can actually buy from other folks. That was before I started doing my own 3D printing in Blender. I want to flatten this so that this is easier to attach. My day job is I'm a special effects artist. I make costumes and stuff for haunted houses mostly. I do a lot of Halloween type stuff. This is my hobby. Yeah, I like the darker stuff too. So what my it was always about like making it your own and you make up your own stories and stuff. And that's just kind of what I'm doing with mine. But I'm folding in, Skeletor has conquered other dimensions. And now Megatron works for Skeletor. Now Hun-Dred the Conqueror works Monstar works with Skeletor. So that's all. So yeah, I'm just a dude playing with toys. That's all. And I have a chance, like I do haunted houses, so I have room at my haunted house, and I have places when I'm setting up haunts where I'm going to do a big train set all around the dark side of Eternia. So you'll see, the Fright Zone. You'll see a giant Snake Mountain. I'm making a huge Snake Mountain. So you'll travel all over the dark side of Eternia. All right, now there's a piece missing right here that I think is in my box. Just never got it out of it. Yeah, it's right there. I just want to glue that in so I don't lose it. Now, because this is like removable, I'd assume like that's a big plot from Buzz Lightyear, but I never saw that movie, so grab some glue. I have a Vine Jungle Figure Factory Instagram, and you can see a bunch of the figures that I've made. Hang on, grabbing some glue. Okay. So I like the idea of Keldor being Randor's brother from the 200X line. That's fun. Yeah. Do I cherry pick and choose the mythoses that I like? Of course I do. So I do like that. But I also sometimes I wish that you know, sometimes I wish that he was older, like Mum-Ra, you know, who's just been around forever, this ancient evil guy who's been around a long time. This is like meant to fall out, so I'm going to glue that in. So I have some plates 3D printing because the original robot has 3 spikes right here. And I have a plate that I'm printing that has 3 spikes on it that's going to go on each shoulder. So, all right, now that's on. That's not going to leave. Great. Well, this is just a hobby. The first ones that I did, Chris, were called Servants of Snake Mountain, and I made 30 figures that were just Snake Mountain workers. You know, Snake Mountain needs a cook. Snake Mountain actually needs a rat catcher. So I did those figures kind of first. And I did 30 of them. I did a builder. You know, Skeletor needs a sculptor, a mason, in order to make all this stuff. I made a guy who tends the slime pits. So I will tell you, Chris, Beastman is my favorite character pretty much ever. I'm a massive Beastman fan. So that's what is my main fun there. Okay. I think I'm just going to cut that tab off here. Yeah, they need, you know, other people to support the world. And you know, not everybody can be a master of the universe. You know, sometimes they have to be, you know, janitors of the castle. So yeah, I did a cook. I did a bunch. I did a doctor because you know they get banged up all the time from fighting with He-Man and his forces. So there's a doctor who waits on them, who helps them out when they get back. Think about all the hoverbots that He-Man busted up in the cartoon. So there's a guy who just fixes the hoverbots. Oh, very, very cool, Chris. I didn't know you had seen any of my videos. So, yeah, absolutely love Beastman. All right, so I'm gluing. Yeah, I have a few of those. I didn't get them, you know, I don't think I paid more than 20 bucks for any of them. And I bought a few on like clearance. So, Chris, I have a weird question for you. You're in Germany. Have you ever heard of Europa Park? Europa Park. They do a big Halloween thing there, a big haunted house. I've done a lot of work for them as far as making costumes. Okay. Now that little hole is covered. See, I set this so that I like that this has this little plate right here, and I want to mount this solid because I want him to be able to turn from the waist. I know a few folks over there, Ace. I know a few guys. Yeah, there's John Cook. He does a lot of work at Knott's. Yeah, I know some of them. And then I know some of the guys from LA Hayride. I don't know John Douglas. So this connection is actually a little bit tight. I wish it were looser. Because that means my connection from here to here is going to have to be really good. And he'll have these claws on here. And his claws kind of go up and down. So I've got to drill in to get those in there. Okay. And then I don't know if I'm going to remove this or just take some out of it and then put this in as his eyes. He has these like weird gun eyes. Probably could just saw right across here and then put that on. Maybe I can make a new top shell if I form it over something. Yeah, again, this is Hun-Dred the Conqueror that I'm making. I should be able to get him mostly done this evening. All right. So what I'm going to work on first, let me get his head straight, and then I can attach his body to this. Because this will, it'll be bulky if I'm trying to work on his head first. John Cook is who I was thinking of. Okay, let's see if that's enough to peel this sucker off. So what I have to do is I kind of have to get this even. Okay, well, it's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah, well, Europa Park is just, it's a place that they've bought costumes from me. That's how I know them, that's all. And that goes in there. Mask. Yeah, Mask was a good one. I was not a big car guy as a kid, so I didn't do a lot of those. But this is 5-minute epoxy. I'm going to put some in here so I can attach these eyes easy. Yeah, I like a lot of the old lines. I'm not as big on Transformers. Again, I'm not a huge robot fan. But Silverhawks I loved. Master of the Universe, Thundercats. I was a big Thundercat fan. None of the good guys, always the bad guys, because I like the monsters. Ace, I actually bought a set of the ball joints, but I haven't used them yet. I have a set sitting over there, but I haven't like figured out them exactly. I actually am working on making my own skeleton warrior, like a skeleton for Motu, so that I can have a bunch of undead guys for Skeletor. Okay, now that just goes in there. And is that enough? I want the more interesting side, of course, up. And in 5 minutes' time, that will set. I think I need to go straight, though, with the eyes. And I'm going to pack in more of the 5-minute epoxy. But that is his gun eyes. If you look at Hun-Dred the Conqueror toy, again, he used to have a big suction cup base. I'm just going to put on tank treads. I think that's a good solution. The suction cup looks they looked a little cheesy in the 80s when they came out, I'll be honest. And then I'll have to get a drill to drill in for these claws. Yes, I remember the Motu movie with Dolph Lundgren. I, too, was very disappointed. This whole amazing world, and it had to take place on Earth. So dumb. His first line in the movie was, "Hey, I've been looking for you." And he sounds so weird. Now, Skeletor looked cool, but they really nerfed Beastman. Like, Beastman couldn't even talk. And he was brown. What the hell's wrong? And wearing some kind of weird samurai armor and parachute pants. I hated that. But that's my childhood trauma. Yeah, the Art of Engineering Skeletor, he was the one that was all clear, is that right? He was super clear. Those are cool. You know who I appreciate now, but I didn't as a kid, is the G.I. Joe stuff. I like G.I. Joe more now as an adult than I did as a kid. Although I still don't like collect them or anything. Get in there, you. Get in there. Yeah, Tila looked weird. Man-at-Arms was the closest looking one. All their uniforms were weird. They made up bad guys when they had so many cool bad guys. Now, I'm going to say I enjoy the movie, but not as He-Man lore, really. Crocmaster was my favorite G.I. Joe villain back then. And I still love him. I got some of the new releases of those toys. So I'm going to need some more of this clay. So I'm filling in back here a little bit. I just want to make sure this is sitting securely. Okay, so which Netflix series do you mean? The one where they're all children? Or do you mean one, the Revolution? Yeah, 2001 was the Mike Young. And I think that is the 200X storyline, is what I think. Forgive me, I'm just stuffing my robot with goo. You know how it goes. Well, there's two sets on Netflix. There's one where they're all kind of kids and Ram Man is Ram Mam. And then there's the Netflix Revolution, Revelation, Netflix. What was the first one? But anyway, I enjoyed them, but I didn't, I don't love them. And what's interesting is that Beastman hasn't shown up in Revolution yet at all, which a little weird, a little frustrating. He's my favorite. Although I'd rather have them not use him and just say he's off in the Vine Jungle hanging out somewhere, rather than do something dumb with him. Hey, Cobwebs. I'm stuffing a robot here to make. There was a toy line, Cobwebs, in the 80s called Robo Force. And it was a black and gray robot with kind of red arms. And he had a suction cup body. And this is a bad guy that I'm making for Skeletor's Council. Like I do. Alright, now he's got a little gun popper outer here. Yeah, I guess it was vague, but a lot of my friends had it. They had RoboForce stuff. What is the Eternia Land contest about, Ace? Would it be, yo? So this is the base he'll be on. And my plan is just to build up in these hips, this clay. I can smooth it out pretty good. What's the contest? What's the nature of it? What are you designing, or what are you building, or whatever? Okay. All right, so now I want to set him kind of off to the side. I have a hot glue gun here. This is a resin hot glue, so it will stick pretty well. It's not a normal hot glue. I want that to set up. And now I have lots of room where those hips were to put in this clay. I want to get a little thing of water. We did not have the same audio cassettes as you. You guys had some wild storylines that we did not have. I have some of the big Motu books, and they talk about like what our characters are different and stuff in the German audiobooks. So we did not have those per se. Oh, that's very cool. That might be something I'd be into. I need a reason to map out my whole dark side of Eternia anyway, right? The water keeps your tools from sticking. So that's on there now, but I want to build that up quite a bit. I'll use more clay. That sounds fun. I might have to find some little pieces to put in there because this clay, I can paint it to look like metal, but it'll be a little too smooth. Yeah, this is 5-minute epoxy. This is the steel stick epoxy. Yeah, all the anti-Eternia stuff came from the German audio books, and I really like it. Alexa, what's today's date?
It's Sunday, January 28th.
Okay, so today's the 28th. My goal for this year is to do a custom Beastman every month. And one of the Beastmen that I want to do is anti-Eternia Beastman. Kind of just in that nice black and red theme. It looks so cool. Yeah, when they announced anti-Eternia He-Man, I had to look it up because, I wasn't familiar with it. But really cool stuff. Well, how many Beastmen do I have, or how many are there? There's been almost every time a new Motu line gets released, they make a Beastman for it. Beastman made it to round 2 of the Turtles of Grayskull with a Samurai Beastman. That's kind of cool. No new parts, but, at least they're including my boy. There's probably 30 different figures out there. Yeah, so I'm happy with how this guy's going so far. I think I'll be painting him tonight. Yeah. So I have to add these claws. So I need to drill in. His claws go up and down, so I have to drill in two, just like that, holes. And I think I've got to clip these off or cut them. Because they're a little long. And let me get my drills, my bits out. My bits. Oh no, my bits. Chris, I hate that already. Okay. Yeah, so I'll just use this guy. And then I'm going to grab my drill. I'll be right back. So I used epoxy clay, the epoxy putty, the 5-minute epoxy putty. That's what I used. I glued it down with a hot glue meant for plastic. Yeah, like Pomeranian Beastman. Ugh. All right, I think I need to get out a soldering iron, and I need to start the holes with the soldering iron so that I can go in straight. I don't mind the woke stuff from Kevin Smith. Woke, you know, Tila's got a lot more muscle than she used to, and He-Man wasn't around a lot in the first part of it, but he was never my favorite. So I did not mind when when he wasn't the main dude. While my soldering iron is heating up, I'm going to go ahead and trim these down to what I think I can shove in that hole. Because I know I can't shove all of it in the hole. So next week, I'm either making General Spydrax from Sectars or Mum-Ra. I have just about all the parts for Mum-Ra. I just need to finish sculpting his staff in Blender. When that's done, I can make Mum-Ra. Just some resin printing marks on those. I'll be painting this guy, but he's pretty simple. You will get more paint job videos. The video I'm working on right now is a Sleepy Panther. Sleepy Panther is a figure that I made because I wanted Panther sleeping. I didn't want him like standing up on guard duty, so I made a Panther that's asleep for Skeletor's throne room. You're thinking of She-Ra cobwebs. Orko did not hide in the episodes. She-Ra had a little dude who hid in every episode. Who was, let's just say, Orko-esque. What I'm working on right now is Skeletor's Council, and then I will work on more bases, actually. Yeah, there are certainly people out there who have an unnatural appreciation for Chitara. Like so much. I don't think you should say a cartoon is hot. You know, it's a cartoon. Don't aim to date a cartoon. You don't need a waifu pillow of Chitara. Okay. He did show up occasionally, that's true. There you go. All right, so now I've got a claw on him. That's fun. Okay. Let's do another one. Hey, that soldering iron is still hot, in case you guys were wondering. I can certainly see it. And, you know, but I didn't like the Burbles. They were the robot bears that they were friends with. That just kind of struck me as weird. There's some elements to Thundercats I was not a fan of. But there was a lot I did like. Monkey and Slythe, Vulture Man, Jackal Man. I loved all of those. Even the pirates weren't so bad. I liked those pirates. If you noticed, yep, I did just completely stab my hand with a soldering iron. Does it hurt more or less if it's basically on fire? So the best Beastman figure is from Classics. The Classics Beastman figure, Master of the Universe Classics, is really good. If this were not as far in there, could his wrist turn? Because this used to... No, it didn't turn. That's just a cap. Okay. There's no point then. I'm working on one. Here, I'll grab the one I'm working on. This is a head that I sculpted. So I sculpted and molded this head, but this version of Beastman, he's not done, but I'm happy with how he's turning out. Nice and simple. I added all this back fur. There was a little bit in the middle. So like a milkman. Toes and fingers like a milkman. So I always thought that Beastman got shafted on feet because you know, he's got like almost like boots on, but you don't know if it's his toes. Like he doesn't have any toes. He got shafted on feet every time. So yeah, you got to upgrade their feet. All right. There we go. Now this is in there, but I want to get it in just a little further, just like this one is. Or do I want this one to be out a little bit more to show those two? Hands like a milkman. Yeah, I might be stealing that. You're soft like a milkman. I like it. I have a lot of tools laying here. It's okay to reach over and grab the razor knife, but I have to make sure I am careful that I know where the soldering iron is, so I don't just reach over and grab it or pick it up to get it out. The claw hands. He has a tank tread body. He can pivot at the waist. This clay is already hard, so now I can Mint is a little milk drinking kid. Okay. I'm going to try and find something to put in here to just fill up that space and look cool. So you might have to bear with me while I rummage. Let's see. I don't have the best internet. It freezes up every now and then, but it does normally come back. Okay, so I've got this stuff, which is lock line, and I may end up using that in there. Yeah, I'm now in love with the term of calling someone a milkman when they are not tough enough for my standards. No, I get it from Amazon. I don't have a good place to get it cheap. It's just not cheap, but I use it a lot for different things. That is a turn of phrase, Chris, that we don't use here in the States. So, yeah, get used to it. What's funny is there's a lag on my video. So I have to move the camera and then wait to see if it shows up right. There we go. If I'm not careful, then this is just my crotch, you know, while that's on camera, which we don't want that. Okay. So I have these spaces in here. And this has this nice threaded piece, as well as, I think just that threaded piece will do it. There we go. This just has this little piece, which I think will look good filling out those hips. I don't necessarily dislike the Sky Sled. I don't like that we don't have the whole battle ram. I want the whole battle ram, not just the Sky Sled portion. I have switched it over to the cat head, which is the evil side. I have a few of them. Okay, that one is set. Yeah, the Sky Sled was just the front part of the battle ram. Okay, so now I have to cut off a little bit of this too. They're a little too tall. I have not seen that, I don't think, Ace, but I can look it up now that I know. For the record, my channel is not one to watch for tool safety. Very easy for this to pull out of my hand and get sucked down into the machine here, so don't do what I do, kids. Their mobility is good. Again, in my hot glue gun is resin hot glue. It's not regular hot glue. Well, we didn't even talk about the Wayans brothers, the Damon Wayans D&D movie. Not that good. That's the movie that made me aware of what overacting is, because Bruce Payne overacted the heck out of that. Yeah, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would too, Ace. Okay, Hun-Dred the Conqueror. I'm liking it. So now I need another little filler piece right down here by that. Dragonlance books were great. I really enjoyed those. Be right back. I'm going to grab a little piece. Yeah, they found out that it was going to be a rated R movie, and kids can't go watch it, so they can't make toys for it. Okay. All right, sorry, I had to grab a few things. One of the things I wanted to grab was some zip ties. I have not tried the Dremel Workstation drill press yet. I have not. Let me just see what this looks like here. The answer could be, it looks like a bunch of zip ties, Alan. But I think I'm going to take off the things I just put on. And then do the zip ties, because the zip ties will break up this big patch of clay. And they'll look like kind of like metal banding. I can leave them kind of low. So what I'm doing right now is called fabrication. I'm moving some stuff, putting some stuff together. I guess you can say I'm a special effects artist. Yeah, it's probably easiest to say that I'm a special effects artist, and I tend to focus on the haunted attraction theme park realm as opposed to movies. Not a big fan of doing special effects for movies. Okay, I can tell you I'm already liking these zip ties. They are hard to paint, but they're breaking up just that wad of clay. I actually have an adhesive. It's a glue that you just put a drop on, and then that turns into a rivet as it dries out. What it is, it's you can take some classes for it, but in all honesty, learning it on your own is probably the best way to go about it. I think if you are bad enough at math, then eventually you learn to make things. Like that's how it works. I don't use hot glue because the other glue dries like a plastic, and hot glue tends to dry more like a urethane, but similar concept, I think. Duolingo, are you like the language app? Am I being spammed by Duolingo? Is Duolingo coming for me because I forgot to keep doing my Spanish lessons? I really did want to learn Spanish. I'm making an action figure. This is a action figure. Um, I'm making a version of Hun-Dred the Conqueror. So, yes. Yeah, I like action figures. And every time I put a zip tie on, I'm cutting off the end of it. And you can see in the back, I'm going to run like a power cable up the back here to kind of make those look a little better. But this looks now like there's 3 bands of metal there, as opposed to what was there, which was just, you know, a lot of clay. This is a deception. It's a magic trick. It's all the things that building ought to be. There we go. I wanted that to lay so there's band, 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 and not one on top of the other. And that got it. Yeah, well, and a lot of it is self-learning. A lot of it is self-learning because every single situation is different. Every problem that you're faced with has 30 different solutions. It's a matter of finding the one that fits your budget and skill set. So, yeah. Yeah, like I use math every day. I hated math in school, but you've got to know the formula for silicone. You've got to know there's just stuff that you need it for. Now that those are on, these can go in and look a little better. Yeah, it's doing a lot of experimentation is what I do. And materials knowledge is what allows you really to do a lot of fun different stuff. You have to know materials. I can see people who are stuck in like a one material rut, but that would kill me. I know folks who are good at paper mache, but there's a lot of limitations to paper mache, and they try to use paper mache to solve all their engineering problems, and that's just not the best way to go. But insert anything there. Well, fiberglass is a good solution that no one likes. A lot of times fiberglass is the answer. And why do I hate doing this project? Fiberglass is the answer. Man, I hate it, but it's a necessary evil. If somebody would go to Transworld and just sell fiberglass props and bodies for hayrides that can just stay outside for years and not rot, they'd make a mint. But nobody wants to do it. Okay, so now my little pieces are on. You know, now my little pieces are on here. They look better. I need to drill a hole into that. And now with that hole, I can do a power cable that runs along the zip ties and goes down into there. Now I got to find something to work as a power cable. Parachute cord. That'll be a nice braided power cable for this. That's all I needed. Well, I have this workshop because I used to run my whole company for costumes and stuff out of here. But then I bought a haunted house, and it made a lot more sense to do my haunted house stuff out of there. So I ended up not needing this for my haunt stuff. So, because of that, I had this big shop and I loved remodeling action figures, so I started remodeling action figures in here. And now this whole shop is pretty much set up for action figure work. No, haunted as in a scare attraction. They call them scare attractions more in the UK. And that's a term I really like, so I use it some. But yeah, whenever I say haunted house world, a lot of people think haunted houses, not haunted houses. Why would they be confused? But yeah, the United States is new. We don't have as many haunted places as they do in Europe. So, bye, June. Thank you. All right, so now I have a power cable that runs up here, goes in up there, and it goes down in here, gives a purpose to this hole, and it kind of hides the fact that these are all just the ends of those things. I'm kind of digging this guy so far, guys. I know that's a little weird, but I'm digging him. All right. Next for him is the top piece of this. I need to get another dome on here in order for... There's just a dome over this with, like, spooky eyes. Not spooky eyes, but, like, chainsaw eyes. Oh, okay. Not chainsaw. Gun. Gun eyes. All right. Chris, you're in a bit of a weird crowd tonight because my business is kind of art. Cobwebs is a very hard worker and does a lot of amazing art also. And Ace just described what he did for a living, so you're in a kind of an artsy fartsy group right now. I need to find a round thing to form something over. What is round? What is domed? I don't have any of my eyeball forms here, really. That's a little weird. That spray paint top is not round enough. Cobwebs, I think you're pretty busy. Cobwebs, I would transfer all the bumps off of it. So I don't want the bumps. I might be able to find something in one of these drawers right here. This is left over from the other shop. So this is the first thing that I saw. Maybe that's the right size. It might be too small. This is what Alive with Me is like. You just, spend a lot of time watching me walk around in circles looking for something. Hope it's as fun for y'all as it is for me. Let's see if this works. If this works, I'm just going to call it good and done. I'm going to say it works. Turning off the heater because it's working and it's getting hot. Okay. Yeah, so the ping pong ball fits on here really well. What did that do? I'm looking at the camera. I don't like my... Oh, that's very cool. Awesome. All right, so I need this bit. Now these are really thin. I don't like how thin ping pong balls are. But at least they don't shatter like acrylic does. So now that rocked back looks like that, which is pretty close. I might go a little more off of that. You know what? First, let me mark that. Yeah, I'll definitely back this with hot glue cobwebs. That's a good idea. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. That is very nice. Want it up like that. Okay. Now, this plastic is so thin, have to be careful because the hot glue could melt and warp the plastic. So I can't put on a lot on at once. See you, Chris. Okay. That is on there. That turned out surprisingly well. I'm going to go ahead and spray paint this whole thing. I think the zip ties won't take spray paint very well, but they're already black, so I don't care. This might go sticky with spray paint. I'm not sure. The bottom, the tank treads, we'll find out. But it's all getting blacked out. Just prepping the paint here real quick. Just a little bit of glue. Hold that down. While that dries, I'll get my spray paint. I'm in the process of getting OBS set up for in here so that I'll be able to all right, so now he is all black. That does look cool. It's got to dry. Well, I think a heat gun would definitely melt that ping pong ball. They're so sensitive to that. They're very sensitive to heat. And ping pong balls are super flammable. So, a lot of folks don't know that, but they really are. Oh. I have a little bit to do over here. Yeah, I do my own labor violations. I should be wearing a respirator right now, but I don't. Yeah, dude, a bucket of ping pong balls will go up like a flame vortex. It's crazy. I can imagine that that is not conducive. Okay. This guy, this body will be General Spidrax. Need to look at some images to see what I can do on his chest that is different than. I have an idea. Let me try it real quick. Well, I'll put these hands on. Get this guy out of the way. Tell you what, I'm learning how to sculpt on Blender, and that's not a like. When I can't do a lot of this anymore, I think I might do more digital sculpting work. Wait on that other guy to dry, so while I am, yeah, I like water-based clay myself, cobwebs. Hello, Reese's. Good to see you on. This is a much quieter channel, as you can tell. All right. What I'm going to try and do is mold the muscles from this chest onto this piece and then put it on top of this body. All right, see how that molded to it right there? This is, boy, it's like a Warbler plastic. It's very close to Warbler. Once that cools down, I'll be able to pop this off and try it on this chest. It should be pretty close to the same size. Different sculpted buck. This is for Mosquitor, obviously. Yeah, this is a black knockoff stuff. It's similar. There we go. Yes, it's thermoplastic. I got a big roll of it. Joanne's was getting rid of it. Had it on sale. Yeah, okay, so that looks pretty good. Like, this will work. I'll be able to heat this up a little bit and then put this on and that work on General Spidrax. Although, the shoulders are in a different spot. But I like it. Tate, well, right now I'm actually working on General Spidrax, who is from the Sectars line. I'm doing him as a Motu Origins figure for Skeletor's Council. But what I'm really doing today is Hun-Dred, Hun-Dred the Conqueror, who is from the Robo Force toy line. But I just spray painted him, and now he is drying. So I can't do anything with him while he's drying. But I just made this little piece off of this Skeletor chest. And that works pretty nicely. I think I want a little bit bigger. I want to go a little wider with it. But this was a good test. All right, that's a nice little armor piece, though. Okay, we'll set that off to the side with the rest of General Spidrax. Put this guy back together. This happened to be Snake Armor Skeletor. This is the one I used for my Serpentor. I do a lot of action figure-y stuff. Like, this is one of my favorite hands. I wish they had more of these. Just that claw hand. That's nice. If you don't have an actual fist, that claw makes you look really ready for whatever's happening. Yeah, it worked out pretty good. Okay, so here is Hun-Dred the Conqueror, made from Crap I Had Around the Shop, Bone Breaker's Treads, a Buzz Lightyear robot. This is still wet. A ping pong ball and some 3D printed parts I did. The claws that I designed the claws, and I designed the binoculars there. And I think this guy's going to take a while to dry. I'm going to go ahead and end the live now. And maybe the next time I'm live, I'll paint this, or maybe I'll paint it and then show it. But Hun-Dred the Conqueror, I appreciate you guys watching. Cobwebs, I do want to wish you amazing luck. I hope you get great news. And take care, everybody. When I end these, I like to say, the power is yours. You have the power to make whatever you want. You guys are awesome. Thanks for watching.